Park Board.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order, Monday, January 5th, 7 p.m. Let's go ahead and raise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call to order, roll call. Got John Kinsey. Here. John Goldsberry. Here. Eileen Farmer.
Here.
Jennifer Rich.
Here.
And Zach Tischendorf.
Here.
All right, so the first thing that we need to do is the nomination and election of officers. So we need to have a nomination for president.
I'll make a nomination to appoint John Goldsberry to president.
And I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. We'll need a nomination for vice president.
I'll make a motion to nominate John Kincaid for vice president.
And I will second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes, and then we'll need a nomination for secretary.
I'll make a motion to nominate Eileen Farmer for secretary.
And I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, we've got all of our elected officers moving forward. Next thing we have is the review of December minutes and the special meeting.
I have both of those here, so I have December 1st meeting minutes. I'll make the motion to approve those. So that's December 1st, 2025.
And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, December 1 meeting minutes are approved.
And then we have December 23rd was our special meeting, and I will make a motion to approve those minutes.
And I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. December 23rd minutes are approved. All right, Zach, what do we have on upcoming events?
So we will have the Red Cross blood drive again, February 9th. That will be from 1 to 6. The one that we had back in the summer went really well. I think we have 25 people that donated. So hopefully we'll be able to match that again.
That's at the community center, right?
Yes. And as far as park projects go, just kind of tidying up maintenance shop. Gone through chemical and fertilizer and then janitor supplies. Got those orders put together. And then one other thing, I've mentioned it a few months back. I think we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger on a new mower. Getting a Skag Turf Tiger 2, hopefully. That's what I've got in mind. Quoted prices, well, so in talking to some of the dealers, so we're actually a part of Sourcewell, I guess. And so that's like a state QPA. So basically, it's like a bulk purchasing agreement where like they give a rate to municipalities and things. And so talking to the dealerships, basically they can't offer, they can't undercut each other with that QPA. Like that's the minimum price that they can sell it at, any of them. So I'm going to get with Jane and confirm that and just make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's as far as procurement goes. But we shouldn't have to bid it out. Worst case, we would just get a quote from like 3 dealerships for that exact model, and should all be the same price. Probably looking at around $16,000. And I'm going to go ahead and get, this is like the top of the line Skag model, liquid cooled engine. My hope is that we can start staggering these like every 3 or 4 years, either trading in and getting a new one, or just outright replacing one. I think.
What do we have currently?
So currently we have it's 2015 Skag Tiger Cat, which I believe is about a 31 horse air cooled engine, and then we have a 2016 Cheetah Skag Cheetah that's also I think it's a 29 horse air cooled, and nothing wrong with those mowers. It's just for what we do, the amount of hours that we mow in a given day without stopping. You really want to have that liquid cooled engine. It just helps a lot with your maintenance cycles and your the lifetime of your mower. You know, you're probably looking at easily getting 3,000 hours out of that machine, which we've been over. So the Tiger Cat, I believe, is at about 3,200 hours. So we've gotten some life out of it. Just a lot more repairs and maintenance. We've had they're getting some age on them where like hydraulic lines are leaking, just they get brittle and crack. Now, with that being said, I think no more than what our trade-in value would be on these older mowers, especially with the need for mowing here in town and on the trails. I think it would not be a bad idea to go ahead and make those repairs and just keep those machines reserved for up here. I think we're going to have enough manpower that hopefully I can send a crew up here in town to be mowing, while the other guys are back at the park taking care of mowing and other maintenance, and then we can use our summer help to actually get, painting trash cans, painting doors, staying caught up on the things that we just tend to fall behind on when we start mowing. So I think that's kind of where we're at on that. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts.
There's probably not a lot of trade-in value in those anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say maybe $1,000 to $2,000. I mean, you're really not saving much.
And you'll make that up in the time you have to use that still easily.
Yeah.
Having that extra mower, so.
Yep, I think so. Well, I know too, like the Cheetah, we actually it threw a rod last year, and so we ended up replacing the engine. So it's got a brand new engine in it pretty well. When the time comes, I think we can still get some life out of it. It's just it won't be mowing as much all day every day, type of deal. So, as far as projects at the community center, we did. Working with Universal Design, they had sent out requests to contractors based on the specifications that they had outlined for that foyer restroom remodel, and we did receive quotes back. Excuse me, from Jasper Lumber. Pull that up real quick. JK Forever Homes and Ettinson and Company. And the quote from Jasper Lumber was $44,250 even. From Ettinson and Company, $32,240 even. And JK Forever Homes, $26,763.60. We had budgeted approximately $30,000 in pending council approval. Those funds were appropriated out of Kuhn Building, which is a fund specifically for the town hall and the community center. Basically, you all would just need to make a recommendation to the council, and then hopefully they would approve it at next week's meeting.
Do you have any concerns with any of them?
No, I mean, they've all got credentials to be able to do the work. It's a pretty simple project, really, pretty cut and dry. So,
Does Jasper Lumber have, yeah, so it looks like you're getting less with Jasper Lumber.
They would have to provide insurance certificates if they do the work, right?
correct, and the paperwork that they all submitted, I do have their packets.
Okay.
For simplicity's sake, I've got it all here. But yeah, they did submit certificates of insurance for themselves, as well as their credentials, and then any subcontractors would need to provide proof of insurance. But basically, Universal Design would take care of all that, and then upon completion of the work, they would review it and make sure that it meets everything that was laid out in the bid specifications before final payment.
Once we make a motion and vote on it, how soon can they get started? Like, would you call them tomorrow and say, we're ready, or what does that
The
look like?
town council would have.
The council would need approval, but basically with all these, they've laid it out where you know, as long as we give them notice, and, you know, Edison and Company says 30 days, Jasper Lumber says 35 days.
Yeah, I
JK
see
says 90.
that. My question is, are we ready to let them go when they're, as soon as possible?
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing we have to do to prepare for it or anything?
No, I mean, and some of them had come by just to get eyes on the project and had asked me about, you know, access to the building and what would be the best doors to come in and out with material and supplies and debris. So we've worked all that out. Ideally, if they're amenable to it, I think it would work out in the timelines. If we could time it somewhere around North Spencer's spring break would be ideal. Just because talking to Ann, she is probably going to be out that week. So it wouldn't affect her business. And then I would assume probably something similar with Rachel as well. She probably won't be in the office as much that week.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And she's flexible, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a no-brainer to me. I mean, if they're able to, if JK's that much, they're able to start that quickly, then I don't see any reason why we wouldn't go with them unless you're hesitant, so.
No, I mean, this isn't uncommon. I mean, everybody's got their way of quoting things, and some companies, they're willing to go a little bit lower just because they need something for their people to do in the wintertime, you know?
Are these quotes good through that spring break period?
Well, I mean, obviously we would want to confirm it within, like, you know, probably within 30 days of this meeting. You know, obviously we get the council approval next week. I'll reach out to Universal and say, hey, you know, park board and the council have selected this company. I'll reach out to them and just let them know, like, yeah, get us on the schedule. I would imagine that they'll hold their price for 90 days from when they quoted this, which was, I think, the 24th, or 22nd, excuse me, of December. So,
Yeah, we should be good.
yeah, I don't think we'll have any issues.
We just need a motion to recommend.
Yes.
Who would you like to recommend?
Do we need to pick a company?
Yeah, I mean, the lowest would be.
Yeah.
Typically, it's the lowest responsible.
Okay, well, I will make a motion to recommend JK Forever Homes
And I'll
to
second.
the town council. Do you want to say the amount of the quote?
Yeah, probably, maybe not to exceed, or,
Not to exceed the amount of $26,762.60
And I
for
will,
the foyer bathroom.
and I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We will recommend JK Forever Homes for $26,763.60.
all right. And then as far as other projects go, Brian and I did get most of the hardware, or well, all the hardware installed, for the fob readers on the double doors. Just waiting on him to do a software update. We're like a version behind on the web browser interface software. So he's going to update that, and in doing so, it will actually allow us to have like a daily calendar for door access control. Right now it's just Monday through Friday, whereas with the new software we'll be able to say, okay, July 4th we won't have any staff, door access will be shut off. Or even, you know, in the event where like Eric Elliott does his karate class, we know that it's, you know, 5 to 7 on Thursday evenings. We'll have the doors unlocked for him 4:30 to 7:30 type of thing.
So is that double door?
That way and we could give them key fobs, but in that instance, like, then they wouldn't necessarily even need a key type of thing.
Is that double door gonna be open to the public using the weight room and the pickleball court as well, or will they need to still go through the main door?
So we could discuss that. I mean, it's possible that we could program it to where they could have access to both sets of doors if you want them to.
My concern with that would be, is Ann and Rachel okay with having that traffic in the middle of the day randomly, stuff like that, because it's almost better if they go through the other door and come into the gym versus coming in and out of that all day long.
I would agree.
Well, they're supposed to
So-
sign in too when they come in there.
Yeah.
The dailies are, but they're technically, I mean, they're not supposed to come unless it's staff hours.
Oh, only
Yeah.
days. not
Yeah.
Sundays.
We have a digital waiver now, and yeah, I mean,
I would check with Ann and Rachel just to feel them out and see, because with their businesses being there, you don't want a whole lot of foot traffic if you can avoid it, if they can just go through the other door.
yeah, and really the
The after
biggest,
hours stuff, like Eric and whoever else is renting or whatnot, that's a little different.
That's nice that you can just program it though, so that it can be unlocked and then you don't have to do it.
yeah, well, and then the other part of it too, the big reason was like the rentals, like the daily rentals of that large room, like on the weekends, then you don't have to have somebody come up there and arrange to get a key to them, and then they drop it off, yada, yada, yada. It's like, okay, the doors are open. What
Can you set it up per individual as well?
do you mean?
So I assume the door won't have locks on it anymore, it'll just be a fob.
It'll still have a key lock. Basically, the
okay,
way,
okay.
yeah. So this is a little bit different. So the double door or the single door on the fitness center side is an electromagnetic lock. So like in the event of a power outage, it unlocks that latch because it's a safety hazard. Whereas on the double doors, it's all tied in. It's mechanical. So basically, the server sends the signal to a motor, and then the motor depresses the panic bar, and it keeps it depressed so that you can just open and close the door as you
Do
need.
you get alerted when there's an electric outage?
I end up with a phone call. We could look into it. It's
I'm
probably
just thinking security wise.
That way you know all of your doors are unlocked.
it's probably not going to be cheap.
Is there a way for Brian to set up something in the system when that failure happens, that it alerts us through the system, or,
I could ask him.
you know what I'm saying, like when the fob system's down or unlocked for more than 5 minutes or whatever?
We may be able to come up with something through our Unify interface because I do have that app on my phone. If we end up going through Corson, like more of a traditional system, they're probably going to want to upgrade all the hardware, and it's going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can.
I'm just thinking, electricity goes out, you're going for the weekend, whatever, and nobody knows, and the doors are wide open all weekend.
Yeah, and really, it's just the one door. Every other door in the facility still has a traditional mechanical lock. It's just, like I said, the double doors. It's basically just a motor that depresses the panic bar.
Yeah.
So, like in the event of a power outage, basically the default position is that door stays locked. But if somebody's in the building and would need to get out for fire reasons or anything else, they can still push the panic bar and get out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, is it good to move on?
The reason I asked about the personal setup, like per fob, like Rachel and Ann, can they use their fob? Like, can you have it set up to where their fob will work anytime and others won't?
Like
Correct.
where they have more
See what I'm
access.
saying? So that the public can't go through those doors during certain hours, but those two can still get in while they're working.
Yeah, it would be the same deal. So, like on the fitness center side, those fobs, as long as they have, signed the waiver, and then like in the instance of a minor, as long as they have the parental consent signed, they can access the facility anytime technically.
Yeah.
It would be the same for Ann and Rachel. We would just program their fobs to have that 24/7 access. And honestly, they're going to still have keys anyway for the interior rooms.
Yeah.
They could always keep a key in case, that's one thing that Brian and I kind of kicked around was, do we have like a button that they can push to let somebody in? Or do we just say, hey, just use your key, unlock the door, and then when you leave, lock it back up?
Yeah.
Because who knows, Rachel could be busy on a call and a colleague comes to the office but they don't have a key. She's got to
Yeah.
get out and open the door.
Yeah, I would just work with those two to make sure they're comfortable, since they're paying for business, so.
Yep.
Ann's the one I really worry about the most, mainly because her type of business, they don't want a bunch of rowdy, loud people walking through there.
Yep. Yep. The exterior wall on the east side of the building, there was a windstorm that knocked a couple of sheets of vinyl off. I do have those ordered from H&R, so just waiting on those to come in. And then I hadn't heard anything from Custom Sign in a long time. I called them today and got a hold of one of the secretaries. And she did say that she would reach out to Mr. Elpers, who is the owner, and figure out when they could send somebody out. So hopefully we'll have a better update on that next month. As far as trails are concerned, one project this winter that I'm hoping to get to is knocking out trees, shrubs, brush that has kind of grown up below the retaining walls along the trail. Just want to try to keep that cleaned up so we don't end up with big roots in the retaining walls. That's not good. And then I have looked into plastic grip strips for our wooden bridges. Basically, it's about a 32-inch long by 2-inch thick textured plastic strip that can be screwed down to the decks. And basically, the way I've seen them that they're deployed on the bridges is they come out about 8 inches or so from the hand railing, and then they mount the strips. So you don't have like a long strip all the way across the bridge. It's just along the handrails. That way, if people are walking and they are using the handrail, then they still have the foot traction as well. They're not cheap. I'm hoping to possibly write that county grant to try to get $4,000 or so to help offset some of the cost. We may have to stagger it and do it, over a 2 or 3 year period. My estimates, we're probably looking at about $10,000 to $12,000 to put a strip the length of the bridge on each side of each bridge. So.
Would you say that the bridge on the trail, this trail right here is the worst, the one that's down towards the three-way stop?
Yeah, just because of the length of it and the fact that both of those are constantly in the shade. The lowest priority ones, probably there's 2 or 3 of them in the park that they at least get sun for probably 8 to 10 hours a day. Those are probably the last ones we do, but the rest of them pretty much are in shade constantly. So I think those are definitely the first priority. But I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to get all of the supplies at once. We do save, I think it's about $1.50 per strip. If we buy at least 1,000 of them, I think that's the minimum. It starts at 10 cases of 100 to get the wholesale discount. And I think we need about 17 cases.
Okay.
So I'll explore it a little more, but I think that's probably our best option. I've looked at some other designs, some that are like a stamped aluminum, and they get really pricey. And even then, I don't know about durability on those just because they're metal. What happens if you get ice? Are you really gaining anything? So.
I think from a proactive standpoint too, as far as liability goes, we had a situation today where a client we had insured had a customer at their site and tire blew on the truck and the cap came off and hit the guy standing there. And he actually had a little bruising and stuff, but no visible damage. And 2 hours after it happened, Morgan was calling the place saying that the person got hit was already talking to him about filing suit. So,
Wow.
yeah, so it's definitely something worth looking into.
Road bridges get slippery too.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of went round and round with that. We could put strips all the way across the bridges, but then it gets very cost prohibitive. You're probably looking at almost $25,000 to run strips all the width of the bridge, the length of the bridge. And I don't know, from a bike standpoint, we still have the bollards in the middle of a lot of those bridges to keep vehicles off of them. So I would think that if someone on a bike was concerned about it, they would ride over the strips, but then kind of
Right.
jar your teeth as you're.
I don't ride a bike on it.
2 inches thick, you said?
Well, they're like the width is 2 inches, the length is like 32 inch.
So how thick are they?
I think they're like a quarter of an inch maybe to 3/8.
I doubt you would feel much on a bike, I'm sure.
Say, I've slipped with like my feet, but the stroller's been steady, so I wouldn't be concerned about a bike.
I'd be worried about the bike.
You would?
Yeah, when those things are slick,
I don't
I've
ride
seen,
bikes.
I've seen kids crash and burn, I've seen their
Yeah.
tire tracks on, like where they've
I
slid.
guess I have 3 wheels.
Yeah.
And you know how kids are, as soon as they see
Yeah.
it slick, they're gonna try to slide on it too. And so,
Well, and I think the worst one, as far as that goes, is along Ashburn coming from the shelter house by the road. So if you're going up to meet the town trail, there's 2 bridges there, and the trail kind of has a natural curve to it coming onto and off of, and I think that's where a lot of times those bike issues happen, is they're going to turn, the back wheel slides and down they go. So we'll see. Being proactive is definitely a better option, I think. And we can always revisit it if we decide that we want to add more strips. You can always add more strips. So, who knew that little pieces of plastic could cost so much?
Yeah.
They do.
the one concern I have, you said they're screwed in. Are we gonna have any issues with the screws coming back out with freestall and sticking up and things like that, or what are your thoughts?
Flat tire.
You know what I mean? Because that could be another issue.
Could be. I can't imagine that it would be a major issue.
It probably just need to be checked throughout the year.
Yeah, and looking at the design of it, I mean, it's a wood screw, like a deck screw with like a big thick pan head on it.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that, especially like with foot traffic and bike traffic going over it, that they would withstand.
Yeah.
And we can always revisit that too if we want
I'm
to try
just
a
saying
different type
about
of screw.
Just normal decks and things like that, you see screws back out a little bit here and there after a few winters.
Yeah. Well, and it's something too that we can always, we always kind of keep an eye on that stuff too. You know, we walk the bridges and see if we got issues, cracks in the boards and stuff like that too. So,
It's good community service hours,
yeah,
tighten the screws.
I think that could be a good volunteer project, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We go out and lay down.
It'll be timely to put all those down.
Yeah.
Yeah, lay down chalk lines and give people some guides on how far on each board they stick it, and somebody lays them out, 2 or 3 people screw them down and just go down the line.
Yeah.
It's a lot of man hours, so that'd be a good volunteer project. Let's see here. Oh, the millings on the east side of the community center, I did finally get those spread up against the building too, so that is all those piles are gone.
Did that help the mud issues?
A little bit. Of course, we went and put those down, and then they decided to go ahead and redo all the transformer boxes, like all the way around our building, the parish's shelter. So basically, everything we put down, they trenched right through and put mud back on top. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. We
It's
can
pretty
always,
soft on that, would that be the east side?
yeah, kind of where you come along that driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closer you get to the shelter, the softer it is.
Yeah. Yep. The only other thing I have, Nick Schwartz with CHA did reach out to me and wanted me to just relay to you guys that they hope to have the plan deliverables for the first phase of the play or the park improvements to us by next meeting. Yeah, they're gonna redesign that playground area and the event lawn and come up with some harder numbers on what it's gonna cost. So, yeah, we'll have more on that later. I think that's all I have, unless anybody has anything else.
How's your, report look like, your admittance and your rentals, and is that good numbers? How do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the normal seasonal cycle. It starts picking up in November. We saw a pretty good jump. I think we jumped up about 12 seniors, about 5 youth, and then about 15 adults. Dailies are about the same. And I'm sure January will be even bigger because everybody does their New Year's resolutions, so we'll probably get a lot of signups.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, things seem to be going well.
Do you have any idea, like, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, what these numbers look like? Because I really don't know. Like, have we increased dramatically, or a little bit, or stayed the same?
Let me look here. 21, I think, is the last data. We'll go off December numbers from previous. Sorry. So, and I could, maybe between Jesse and myself, we could compile a lot of this data into some actual charts and graphs. Just looking at the 2020 report, and granted that was during COVID. But we had 39 members, that'd be probably all membership types, 33 dailies. So yeah, December of 25, we're looking at 142. So pretty substantial increase. And again, like I said, we could go through all this data and build some graphs and charts out. It might take us a month to get
I
it.
think that'd be good to show the town council, just show them where money's going and how it's improving, and
For sure.
yeah, show them some of that trend over the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, it's gonna ebb and flow a little bit, but you should be able to see a pretty good increase across the board.
For sure. Well, and that's one thing too that I've kind of been thinking a lot about, especially with potential changes down the line with budgets and stuff. You know, we get this data, not only what does it tell us, but where do we need to go if we have budget issues. You know, obviously we're a community facility. We want to try to offset our costs as much as possible while still providing a good community service and amenity. But do we need to look harder at increasing our rates? Do we need to look harder at mandatory 6-month minimums on memberships? Because what we have a lot of times is, again, people will sign up in November because the weather starts getting crappy and the days get short. Well, they'll stick around until about end of March, and then we start to see a decline, and then we see a drop off. Now, I will say with the improvements we've made to the facility, we don't have near the summer drop off that we used to have. We retain a lot more members through the year, but it's still, July is still substantially lower than January.
Yeah, and that's normal.
Yeah. So, just something
Not
to
only
keep
is
in
the weather
mind.
better, but their kids are doing more, and so they don't have the time to be in there as much as they do in the winter.
Yep.
It's not dark at 4:30,
Yep.
so.
So, but yeah, I'll make a note of that, and that's something that between Jesse and myself, we can start working on.
Did Brian give you any sort of timeline on the software updates? Like, are we talking about a week or a month, or?
So, well, obviously the holidays kind of threw a wrench in things. I know he's been working on a pretty big project over at Ferdinand, and it's taken up a lot more of his time than he thought it was going to. I can reach out to him tomorrow and just see where it's at, but I would imagine, hopefully by February, we can have that in place. And then Jesse and I will work on getting the sponsorship letters out here this month as well. So
Are we, I don't where we went on this, but are we promoting website sponsorships as we get our new website up and running here soon, or how do we wanna handle that?
That's probably a Jane question. I know.
That's more townwide versus just park.
Well, and I know it's been brought up through that process. Obviously, you've been on those conversations. I would think at a minimum, we may be able to edit our sponsorship program and maybe offer some sort of enhanced package, obviously for an increased fee.
Yeah,
As it pertains to like our page on the website. As far as like the main page of the website, I don't know how that would work.
right. Yeah, that's what we gotta figure out. And
Because I know even like
worst case scenario, we can still list all of our sponsors on our webpage regardless.
yeah, we do that right now.
Yeah, so, but if we wanna take it further down the road, we figure out, you know, as a town, you know, as far as putting logos and links to their websites or advertisements or whatever they want, you know, we'll have to figure out some sort of package on that. And maybe that's totally separate from the park donation, but we gotta figure out where that money goes. Does it go into every department or the general fund? What, you know, how does that work? I don't know. But once we get the site up and running, we can figure that out.
Well, and ideally, I've always kind of had it in my mind that like even within the Park and Rec page, you would have 3 sub-pages for each one for each facility. Because like right now, I have to put all of our information on a single page, and it's like scrolling through a book
Yeah.
to get to the sponsors.
Yeah.
You know, which I think I changed that up. I might have moved the sponsors toward the top, but still, to get all the facility information, you got to spend a couple minutes scrolling through. Whereas if we had other pages, you can just click and
Yeah.
get the information that you
We'll have
want.
to see what, you know, what kind of options and compatibility we have versus, you know, putting it on the home page or putting it on all different pages, you know, because it's a content box, basically. I don't know if it stays the same or if you can have separate ones and customize them for each page or how that works. We'll have to figure that out.
I mean, as far as it shouldn't be an issue, honestly, especially if we had separate pages. All 3 facilities have their own donation account. So if we had, businesses that wanted to, organizations that wanted to sponsor the community center, we could offer that to them.
What about individual donations? Like, if I just, as a parent, I'm down at the park and I see a QR code that I can just snap and like donate to, do we have an account where we can do that? Or like if I'm at the concession stand and I can just,
So that's our hope. We've been talking about that since we started, of trying to get QR codes for each facility, and some sort of a secured portal where you can make a donation.
Because we've had like hard boxes, like where you put cash in, but who carries cash?
Yeah. Well, and
Jane
just,
was looking into that a little bit. I'll have to follow up with her and see where she got. I know invoice class was part of it because you can only people could only make payments in certain buckets and things like that.
you had to have an account number.
Right, so she's looking at, I'll have to follow up with her on that. We talked about it about 2 months ago and kind of fell off with the
because
holidays.
I think that would be a big hit.
Yes.
You're just down there,
Yeah.
you see a QR code at the concession stand as you're.
Yeah, because people want to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just gotta give them a reason to, and
Yeah.
a way to.
Yep.
So
Put our
yeah,
vision
that's
boards of
what
our
it is.
playground up and say, help donate to the playground.
Yeah. Yep.
All right,
What
so
ideas?
are we on to vouchers?
Unless
Is
you
that
guys
where
have
we're at?
anything else.
I make a motion to approve the Santa Claus Community Center vouchers in the amount of $4,641.69.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes to approve the community center vouchers for $4,641.69.
I'll also make a motion to approve the Parks and Rec vouchers for the amount of $9,304.51.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We will approve the Park and Rec vouchers for $9,304.51. All right, anything else?
That's all I got.
Can we get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:45 PM.
Our next meeting will be Monday, February 2nd, 7 PM here at Town Hall.